yeah, what are your thoughts real quick on the game thus far? Because it has been an absolute butt whooping for your Cleveland Browns.
First and foremost, I don't think Shedeur Sanders played a good game, so we can start that right now.
Okay.
I think he had there's 2 interceptions. He was fooled on one. Got the linebacker kind of baited him on it. That was a bad interception. And then I do think there was another interception when he threw the quarter round at the end of the game, where the ball floated and fluttered, and the defensive back was in the cover 2, lined up underneath it. So I don't think he played a really good game at all. I do think the other interception, there was one to Jerry Jeudy. He put the ball on him.
Perfect throw.
Perfect throw. Dropped it dime right and hit him right in the face. Didn't. So, 3 interceptions. They're moving the ball a little bit, but that, I'm not counting none of that. But first and foremost, let's start with that. I do not think Shedeur Sanders played a very good game today. I think he had some ebbs and flows. I think he took a step back in some areas. However, I do think that like you said in your first thesis, was nasty work. The entire team started off with bad special teams again. With that defense up front got manhandled again. That's another attempt with that. So that's 2 weeks in a row, almost 3 weeks in a row. Defense hasn't showed up. I just thought this game was the Bears overall outplayed them, outcoached them, all the above, letter D.
Earl?
What up?
Brother?
I mean, I don't know, like coming to this game, offensive line was trash. Like we only had one starter coming into this game. So you kind of knew, like, from just coming into this game, it was going to be tough sledding overall. But, they was ill prepared. They just didn't look enthused. They didn't look like they was, like, ready to come out and compete in any facet of the game from the opening kickoff. Here it is, another opening kickoff, and the special team surrender a return of 40-plus yards, I think probably for, like, the 5th week in a row. And so that automatically cuts the starting field position down for the Chicago Bears. The defense do a good job of forcing a 3 and out. Our first offensive possession, you see what it looked like. The Bears special teams unit did a great job pinning us deep. You get the early penalty. I think it was 2 penalties early on in that drive. And it just set the tone for what would be a long day in a negative way. I think I echo everything G said. Shedeur Sanders did not play well. By far, this was worst of his 4 career starts. No question about it. 2 of their interceptions, I thought the defense did a great job of disguising what they did and forced him into some bad throws. And if you look at the Chicago Bears defense, that's pretty much how they've played all season. It's pretty much one of those feast or famine type defenses. They kind of rank really low when it comes to total yards against the pass, against the run, but they lead the league in turnovers forced. And so you've seen that there. The 3rd interception, or the 2nd of the 3 interceptions, he threw an absolute dime to Jerry Jeudy, and he dropped it. His name will remain unanimous, but somebody in our group chat said it'd be mighty funny if Shedeur Sanders went to the sideline and started cussing his ass out, like being all in his face. But I thought it was a tough day for Shedeur. Ebbs and flows, like G said. I thought it was some big plays from him. One thing that we have learned from Shedeur throughout just seeing him in 4 starts, he is going to take some shots downfield every single game, and I can appreciate that. You get 2 big shots downfield. I thought the scramble on 3rd down, he did a great job of filling the pressure in the pocket. I thought that was a situation early to where Kevin Stefanski could have went for it and kind of like created a spark early on. I
should have went for it
on 49, but I would have went for it. You ain't got nothing to pretty much lose at this point. But he was under a lot of pressure, and he stood in there, made some throws. I thought the one throw to Harold Fanning when he had the defensive tackle draped on him, it showed, like you've talked about, Mike, that underrated athleticism that people kind of forgot about through the entire draft process. The run game, non-existent yet again. For whatever reason, the Cleveland Browns just can't get it going. There was no type of extensions of the run game. I thought with all the pressure that Shedeur Sanders faced today, we seen the screen game a lot, Mike, last couple of weeks. That really was not there this week. Lot of targets to Harold Fanning. So, we see what that was. The defense, bad again today against the run. Just bad overall in the first half. I thought that they were not up to the task early on in the game. Shout out to Caleb Williams. Shout out to Ben Johnson. I thought the offense had a solid game plan. I tweeted out early in the game. It seemed like every single thing that they wanted to do, they were doing with no questions asked. Me and you both tweeted out at one point they had 12 total first downs. Browns had 9 total plays ran in the game. So it was just a tough day around the board, and I get it. The offensive line is what it is, man. And it's one of those situations to where you know what's going on, but it just seemed like the energy wasn't there. It just seemed like they was flat. It just seemed like they was not enthused with coming out to play this game, right? Like just the penalties, you know, the continued special teams mishaps. Now the defense is starting to fold as we get down the stretch. It was a bad day for Browns fans. That's for damn sure.
We'll get to Shedeur in a sec because I agree with you. I didn't think he played well today, but this is a bigger picture than the quarterback right now. Gee, we've had many conversations throughout the season about the Browns either being ill-prepared, not playing up to the standard at which we expect them to play, even for a subpar team, not playing up to a certain standard, not being ready, questionable in-game decisions. And we keep coming back to the same thesis and conclusion. And I think all three of us are in agreement that just the Kevin Stefanski era has to end immediately. I haven't seen a Browns game, maybe in the entirety of the UCSS show history, that has screened more 1-2-3 Cancun than this. They looked unenthused. Their quarterback had the wrong wristband. They start the game giving up a 50-yard kick return and then another punt return. They had 12 men on offense on a play, G. He's 12 men on defense all the time. I can't remember a time I've ever heard 12 men in an offense get actually called. Sometimes you see it happen, and then the quarterback says, no, get out. We got 12 guys. It's a comedy of errors. And I don't think it's fair to point it all at one person because I think a lot of people are at fault here. But if this wasn't the final straw in Jimmy Haslam's decision, if he hadn't already made up his mind, and I hope he had, but if he hadn't already, I don't know how you watch what we just watched for 3 hours and 7 minutes and have any faith in bringing this back in any way, shape, or form. I thought it was a disgrace to the game of football, their unpreparedness for this game. A legitimate disgrace, considering the fact that despite the bad weather, Chicago's offense looked fine, right? Caleb Williams was able to throw the ball pretty well. They were able to run the ball. They were able to block. The Browns, are playing down a bunch of offensive linemen. They're not a super talented offense to begin with. But that's an atrocity. 3 points against a middle-of-the-pack at best defense that does a good job forcing turnovers, but frankly can't stop anybody. They have no run game because the offensive line can't stop Quinshon Judkins from getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. They can't. Did he get through the line of scrimmage once there without getting hit? I honest to God don't think so.
No.
Shedeur made some throws. We'll get to Shedeur in a sec, but he didn't play well today. And it's just an overall tragedy of errors, and I cannot wait for this season to end because I cannot wait to get myself off of this addiction that we have to watching Kevin Stefanski football teams. I can't do it anymore. I'm at my wit's end, guys. I'm at my wit's end.
So first of all, I didn't pick the Browns to win this game. I don't think you picked the Browns to win this game.
Bo was the only one who did.
You look at what happened, and this is a microcosm of everything. They come out. Remember, he has the wrong wristband or his head communication doesn't work. And Kevin Stefanski sends him back in the game. And I'm counting down on the live stream, 10, 9, 8. It's a game where it's cold outside. You're already down 7-0. You need to at least get a first down or something to kind of warm yourself into this football game. And Kevin Stefanski doesn't call timeout. He lets him take a 5-yard penalty, and it's 1st and 15 now. And it's like, he doesn't, and this is again, I mean, I don't know if you're checked out. We can go back to the 49ers game. Hey, you're running in, something's wrong. Call timeout. It's the first quarter. You don't get extra points for taking that in with you. It's 1st and 15. You end up leaving, putting the ball back to them. You're down 14-0. And it's one of those things where, not only that, but let me just talk about the cohesiveness. As I was yelling and screaming at my screen in terms of the offensive play calling, Ben Johnson, what his offense looks like. It's a masterclass. You go back to the Patriots game. They're setting up the tight end. Oh, it's play action on this play. Oh, we got crossing routes. We making you look every which way but loose. And the thing that they can do is they just got into 2 tight end sets and rammed the ball down your throat, running a good old power play. Yep. It wasn't nothing. They got after you. They put a helmet and a hat on the hat, and they got the ball running, and it looked like they knew who they were blocking. The Browns offensively, and in terms of their run game, Earl, let me just throw this out here. And we could, at one point in the fourth quarter, The Browns, this was in the fourth quarter. They had 11 carries for 27 yards. 11. Your top rusher was Quinshon Judkins with 9 carries for 16 yards. Shedeur Sanders had 1 carry for 9 yards. If you take the 9-yard quarterback scramble out, you had 10 carries for 18 yards.
Well, G, he was the leading rusher again for the second week in a row. His 24 yards rushing from Shedeur Sanders led the Cleveland Browns for the second week in a row. The Browns average 3.1 yards a carry. Like, again, this is a team that was 27th against the run. And so we know, again, the offensive line is bad. We get all that, but I think everybody came into this game understanding the elements, the weather, things like this, man. You gotta eventually, you gotta get Shedeur a run game. You got to give this offense a chance while giving some type of resemblance of a run game. And if you can't really do power run, if you can't get to the edge, then do some screens. You got to have some type of creativity. And that's where the frustration comes in as a Browns fan, right? Because you go through this week and, we make the graphics and we know what's what. So, of course, they know what's what. And when you're going through the week and you're putting together your game plan and just, how you're going to execute the play and things like that, it just seemed like, man, we always the team that's coming up short. You talk about the sophistication of Ben Johnson's offense and just, how fluid it is. And, they do the basic things well and they open up the other things. At the end of the day, we know he comes with a great system. But the reality is they are only 14 games into his tenure learning that system. And yet here we are 6 years into a Kevin Stefanski offensive-minded coach-led system, and it just looks so stale, lethargic, etc. Right? Overall, though, this team coming out being ill prepared, like what Mike said, man. I mean, the weather didn't really seem to face the Chicago Bears at all. They was game, they was ready to go. It just seemed like, man, today was just blah from the start, from the absolute start. Real quick, what did y'all think about that challenge when he threw the challenge flag when we took the field for the first time? Did you think that was when
I think he was trying to help out an offense that struggles enough as it is to not start on the 1-yard line. It just makes no sense that he would challenge that and then not go for it on 4th and inches after that 9-yard scramble by Shedeur. It's just the inconsistency is what kills me with him. I didn't mind the challenge, but I tweeted out, you go for it there. What do you have to lose? You're 3-10. What do you have to lose at this point? The answer is nothing, right? There's nothing. If you're trying to evaluate as an organization, if you're trying to evaluate what you have in this quarterback, what you have in some of the players on this offensive line for next year. And by the way, the offensive line sucked today. We don't have to preface everything we say for the rest of the show. We all know the offensive line was abysmal. Maybe one of the worst offensive lines ever assembled for a starting NFL game. Seriously,
I've ever seen.
It was that bad. We're all under the same premise. We all know. I just don't understand the inconsistency of some of the decisions he makes. I'm just over it. I don't know how else to say it. I've been over it for a while. This was nothing new to me. It just, hopefully for the people who are on the fence or were on the fence about this, they get some mental and much needed clarity that this is just not the guy. Kevin Stefanski might end up being a good coach somewhere else, but sometimes your voice runs dry in a locker room and change is needed. I can't look at an organization around football, around any sport right now and say they need a change more than the Cleveland Browns. I feel like the Browns are at literally the top of that list of franchises that need a head coaching change.
I just don't. I look at it and I know a lot of people, a lot of what we talk about and a lot of guys, they boil it down to the quarterback, and that's just what life is now because of the quarterback position and how it's marketed so much. But the Cleveland Browns, man, I mean, they are this is a case study of what it looks like when you're outgunned, you're outmanned, you're out-schemed, and you don't even have help coming. I'm looking at it, and we go back and we take a look at it from week to week, and we talk about